This is how I make 75K per month at just 20 years old. So I know you probably read the title and you probably thought to yourself right away, no way this guy makes 75,000 a month at just 20 years old. This guy must be lying. And I'm actually not lying to you. Okay, in fact, here's some proof on the screen right here. So this is my bank statement, my personal bank statement for the month of April. It's about to be end of May. And in the month of April, I had total deposits $75,236.31. Now, I did spend quite a much that month. I spent almost 60K. The reason being is, first of all, I moved into, my apartment right here, which is a Miami almost top floor penthouse. It's super high rise. This is, I don't know how it looks. I'm in my room. This is what the living room looks like, and this is what it looks like at night. It's totally insane. The view is just immaculate, so this was super, super expensive. As well as I actually, bought a car. I bought an M4. And it was my birthday 2 weeks ago, so I just had a lot of expenses, a lot of stuff going on. But I'm not saying this to flex whatsoever on you. I couldn't care less what other people think of me. And materialistically, I do not care whatsoever what anybody thinks of me. I'm not saying this to flex whatsoever. I just want to show you what is possible. Because most people, the chances are if you're watching this, you might be working a job, you might be in college, and you might have never been exposed to this type of information that you can even make this much money at such a young age. Now, I wanted to introduce you to how I'm able to do this and how I was able to pull this off and how I'm able to, live my dream life, will do whatever I want, and just do what, 50-year-olds do in their free time, when I'm half their age, when I'm even more than half their age, okay? So I run a business. Just now, newsflash, if you want to make a lot of money at a young age, you need to do some kind of business. Like, you can't be working a job. Even if you're a doctor, you get paid by the hour. Now, you need to find something that allows you to get paid for the work you put in, not, for your actual hour. You can't just clock into a job and every, hour you spend, someone gives you 15, 20 bucks. You will never get rich with that way, okay? So you need to find something that is able to pay you when you're sleeping, pretty much. Something that does not require you to work 24/7, if that makes sense, okay? Now, here's what I did about 2.5 years ago. I started a SMMA. For those of you that don't know what SMMA stands for, it stands for Social Media Marketing Agency. Pretty much what that is it is the most boring and simple business model ever. It is just a service business. Now, I'm going to explain in a second why this is the best business to start still in 2025. Even though some people might tell you, oh, do e-com, do crypto, do all this stuff. I'm going to prove to you why this is the best thing you can do. Pretty much what, an SMMA is, or a social media marketing agency, is you just provide a, online marketing service for a certain type of business. It's super, super simple. Whether that might be social media management, whether that might be running Facebook ads for that certain business, whether that might be, building their following, stuff like that. It's super, super simple. Now, the good thing with this is you don't get paid by the hour, so your time is not attached to this, but you get paid a big amount up front and you just get paid for a predetermined result, and you just obviously work to get the result done. So this is pretty much the most OG business model ever because, service businesses have been around for hundreds of years, whether that might be tailors, whether that might be, for example, hair salons, that's a service-based business, whether that might be even construction businesses, right? That's still a service-based business because they're providing a service to a certain type of customer. And it is no different with this. You're providing a social media service to a B2B business. Super simple. Now, as I was saying, this is the best business model in my eyes. You might be asking why. Well, first of all, you get paid up front, so you can get paid $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 up front without even doing any work till that point. Now, there's no experience required whatsoever. I started when I was 17. I was just a kid and I was able to make this happen. And I ended up, living around this, beautiful apartment here. So it worked out. And I'm still a kid pretty much. So you need to have any experience. You can see super fast results. I hit a 10K month within my first 6 months of starting this. And that was still at 17. So I was making doctor's money as a teenager, which is just insane. And you learn a lot. Now, what I mean by this is you become a more charismatic person. You learn sales, which is just such a super important life skill to have. How to negotiate to people, how to talk to people, how to, talk to women. Just sales is everything, right? If you want to get a girlfriend, you have to sell yourself to that woman, right? Weird example, but this is how it works. Sales is present in every single aspect of your life, pretty much. So super, super good life skill to have. As well as just, it can make you a fuck ton of money, right? If you just sell products to other people. But how do you start this? How do you get into this? So now there's really 2 things you need to learn in order to make money with SMMA. Then that's first of all how to acquire clients. You need to know how to get clients that pay you, obviously, and how to fulfill these clients, okay? So 2 things. Now, to get clients, first of all, you need 2 things again. You need to get appointments and you need to close these appointments. So you might be asking, get appointments for what exactly? Okay. So you need to get appointments with people that you can sell your service to. For example, let's say you want to do social media management for let's say hair salons, okay? What you want to be having is on your calendar, you want to have a few appointments every single day with business owners that own hair salons. Now, the way you do this is you can reach out to these business owners over the phone. Now, there's so many methods you can use. You can do cold calling, you can do cold SMS, which is something I teach. I actually made a video last week about cold SMS and how to do that stuff, why it's better than cold calling, why it's better than cold email and all that stuff. But you need to have a way to get in contact with these business owners. I would highly recommend to do cold SMSs that requires barely any time, and you can, do it from like 1 or 2 hours per day, and even outsource it even further, so you don't have to do anything whatsoever, have setters do it, and you just take the sales calls, you just close people, and whenever you close someone, that's when you pay your setters. So you don't pay them hourly, you pay them whenever you make money, which is pretty cool. So if you want to learn how to set up this cold SMS system, just check out my last video. I can even link it in the description, give it a watch, and then I got you. And you want to obviously set up Zoom appointments. Again, on these Zoom calls, you want to be selling your prospects. Now, speaking of selling, like what do you want to sell them on, okay? So this is an offer that I used to run myself and used to sell to a lot of clients at the start, which works amazingly well. And it's super just attractive to these business owners. And you can get them to prepay for example, 20 leads. I used to do 45 because I just wanted, a lot of money up front. But for the start, if you have no results yet, it's very smart to, kind of go a little lower, make the barrier of entry, a little lower. And so they don't have to like overcommit to, paying you that much money, right? For example, you can sell them 20 leads for $2,000. And everything you have to do is just do this 5 times a month and you make already 10K a month. And I'm telling you, this is extremely doable. I was 17 and I was doing this. So if a 17-year-old kid can do it, you can probably too. And the thing is, like, most people get super hung up on this part of the process. Like, they're like, oh, what do I say? It's not really about what you say, it's about how you say it, okay? Because your tonality in sales is extremely important. If you want to have my exact sales process, and I could go on and on about sales and, how to say certain things and all that stuff, because it's such an in-depth topic. I'm not going to do it here because else the video is just going to become way too long. If you want to, learn more about this, I have a dedicated video on how to, sell SMMA services to prospects, and I literally reveal my exact process. When I hop on 10 appointments with prospects in my niche, I close at least 3 of them, and I charge a minimum $3,000 up front. So I just want to throw that out there. If you want to have my process, just watch the video, I'll link it below too, and then you can just steal it. Now, once you sold someone, obviously you need to provide a service, right? Because if you just sell these people and you just don't give them anything, you're effectively just scamming people, right? And obviously we don't want to be doing that. That's just immoral and that's not a good thing to do. And I can tell you, like, the service is the most overlooked part of SMMA. Like, everybody gets this wrong. Everybody focuses so much on get clients, but nobody really focuses on the service. Now, the thing is, if you're trying to run a business and you have a shitty service, you don't have a business because you're just getting all these clients. You're going to get chargebacks, disputes, you're going to have to refund a ton of clients, and you're just going to hate your life. So service is extremely important, okay? You might be watching this on an iPhone. So for example, the reason why you bought an iPhone is because you knew that Apple is a good company for phones. That's why you bought one. If they would have been shit, you probably never even would have heard about them. You probably never even would have bought a phone, and you probably would have watched this on an Android, okay? So product is extremely important. Apple is super good at this. I'm not saying you have to become the Apple of SMMA. I'm just saying you have to have a good, decent service that actually brings your clients results. Now, results, what this means is that makes them money, that gets them more appointments, that gets them more leads, gets them more opportunities to sell customers. That's kind of what a good service does, right? So like I was saying, you need to get these clients results. Like, this is just, it sounds so basic, but it's like so fundamental, and most people get this wrong. So get this into your head. You need to have a decent service that gets your client results. Now, obviously, if you have no clients yet, it doesn't make sense to focus on your service delivery because you have nobody to deliver your service to. So at the start, obviously focus on getting clients first. But once you have the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, you need to really dedicate a lot of time to really mastering that. Once you've mastered it, focus on client acquisition. Like, get as many clients as you want, like as you can rather, and then make them a fuck ton of money. Those clients will get you testimonials, they will refer you a ton of business, and then you just kind of grow exponentially. But the main thing with kind of service delivery is you need to do more than everybody else, okay? Like, you need to just do just a tiny bit more than everybody else in your whole competition, because most of your competitors will just get your clients leads, for example, and that's it. Or they will just maybe do like 1 post per week if it's social media management, and that's it. So just go above and beyond, just do more than everybody else, and you will just succeed way faster with this. And your clients will love you. They will, as I was saying, refer you a ton of business, and you're just gonna love your business, right? Now, for example, instead of just generating them leads and ending it off there, what you can do is just go the extra step and turn these leads into actual appointments, right? So turn it from a lead to an appointment, where if you want to go even a step further, get them leads, qualify these leads, separate the good ones from the bad ones, and then book the good ones into appointments, right? There's multiple steps. For example, for my SMMA, I have this exact workflow. It's more complex, but it gets you way better results. And you can also charge them more too. And you will just also feel way better about yourself too. Because think about it this way. Let's say every single day you spend hours trying to acquire new clients. You might get new clients, but you just get them shit results. They're gonna be texting you every single day, hey, this is not really working out, I don't really like this, can we part ways? Subconsciously, if this happens so many times and people are just telling you your service is shit and they don't want to work with you anymore, what's gonna happen is subconsciously you will self-sabotage. You will just stop acquiring clients because you don't want to be disappointed more. Because it's just not a good feeling to, disappoint people and kind of set these like high expectations. Oh, I'm gonna get you so much work, I'm gonna get you so much leads and all that stuff, but then the expectations falls and you deliver nothing. You just feel like shit because you don't want to be disappointing people. So I know I touched on everything kind of briefly because I don't want to make this video like too long, but I have a dedicated video on actually how to, put this all together. This video is about 40 minutes long and it's really me going extremely in depth on how to, really get appointments. I'm giving you exact scripts that I'm still using till this day. I'm giving you exact methods on how to acquire clients. I'm showing you how to set these methods up. So, and like a bunch more stuff. So it's totally free to watch. It's on YouTube. You can just check this video out right here. I'm gonna link it at the top right corner of the video. Just give it a watch. Now, I'm not trying to sell you anything whatsoever. I'm just genuinely here to help because I know how difficult it is to really get things off the ground if you're just starting out. So I just want to really genuinely help people. So give this video a watch and I'm going to guarantee you that's going to be worth your time. So with that being said, if there's any questions, just drop in the comments, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.